Hello and welcome back to another episode under the playlist name Ransomware TTPs. So actually in our last episode we have fully explained and elaborated the 8 base ransomware group: execution, persistence, privilege escalation, a little movement, collection and impact and discovery, conditional access, and so on. So actually we move to another groups. It's called Akira. So Akira, it's still active. So actually they have a different techniques and different way to start exploitation and penetrating into penetration into a specific or targeted organization or companies networks and other stuffs. So actually let's start with the execution. It used WMI against scripting, PowerShell, okay, Windows Command Shell, CMD. So actually, so Windows Management Instrument. So actually, it's a scripting or commanding line syntaxes. It can be helpful for a different way, not only for malicious purpose. Okay, but because our focus on the malware stuff is, how malware abuse Windows management instrument or instrumentation, WMI. So let's start continuing it. So actually, threat actors try to abuse WMI for multi stuffs, like collecting information about the computer's CPU's RAM, hard disk, deleting the shadow copy, or get information about installed antivirus product and the other stuff. So actually, as we mentioned it before, WMI is a scripting syntaxing language, like a SQL query. Okay, WMI or WMIC, we can say, slash installed product, for example, or uh, WMI slash from system 32 and so on. So it's not the right syntax, but you can imagine like this because it's a query language. Okay, in the for in a same reasons. So actually, Akira use this technique actually. We using WMI for some abusing stuffs. And command and scripting interpreter, again, that's mean using a Python, Lua, Visual Basic, Unix shell, CMD, command shell for their malicious purpose, maybe for change of permission, maybe for wiping stuffs, for disabling antivirus product, and so on. So we discussed fully scripting and command interpreters. The same actually. Yeah. So actually trying to use a CMD, Windows Command Shell, for malicious purpose. Maybe for using some waiting like a CMD slash C or minus C 107.7.7.1, and then a limited timeline and so on. So actually, there are many ways that threat actors trying to abuse CMD or command and scripting interpreters in Windows operating systems. Related to persistent, they're trying to create, in a Active Directory, and we have in normal users actually. Okay, they're trying to create accounts. Okay, to maintain access in an operating system. So actually, it may be in a local system or with a domain or cloud stuffs. Okay, so actually it's just creating another account. So imagine create another user inside your system, or it come back to in your operating system each time that attacker interested, or creating account in domains that's in a mostly in a Active Directory stuffs. Related to privilege escalation, again, domain account is and valid account, domain account is. So I believe The valid account means using actually brute forcing specific users and use this user permission and privilege to their own malicious purpose. So that's actually a valid account is. Again, that's in the same technique actually. Default account, domain account, local account, and cloud account. This technique is removes those, so they try to privilege escalation actually. They doesn't use scheduled tasks or maybe run and run once key, but actually let's try to, and they even for persistent mechanism they are trying to abuse another feature in Windows operating systems instead that traditional way that maybe 8-base trying to relying on it. For defensive vision they're trying to exploit or abuse RDP domain account or modify the registry and disable or modify tools. Okay, so actually let's back to it. I mean they try to use a valid account, so I mean the user inside this organization, the specific group or the threat actor trying to access on this account through brute force or through maybe initial access brokers, through breach stuffs, leaked data, and again trying to connect into SSH, VNC, and RDP stuffs, and there start more exploitation actually on it. Valid account we are discussing before. Modify registry. So actually, I mean trying to modify registry stuffs, the registry key to privilege escalation. Okay, for example, in here Agent Tesla that we are conducting investigation already, that modify registry to maintain a persistent, maybe through run and run once. In power defense, as we mentioned, they're trying to use another component in Windows operating systems to get a high privilege or maybe try to defense evasion. To conditional access, again they are trying to rely on dumping LSAS or dumping the hashes. They doesn't rely on brute forcing and other stuffs. So it's very important to us try to dump credentials. So it's related to valid account, I believe, also. And in Linux from the password or shadow. And again, in the same, trying to dump a password, dump the hashes through Mimikatz or maybe Lasagne or the other tools, and then start lateral movement. But actually, we are in discovery, so they're trying to get a system information, remote system discovery, the discovery itself. I think this one is no found. Okay, just back to remote system discovery. So actually, they are trying to get a maybe IP stuffs, get a user's information, network information, computer information, to be able and to pin the other destination that threat actors or this ransomware group may be looking for. For example, net view to get all the network and user information, or net users and pinging specific IP inside the network, and showing IRPs and so on. Again, system information discovery, trying to get information about system, maybe RAM size, CPUs, manufacturers, date and time, maybe for targeted attacks. It won't be useful for threat actor, not for us like a defensive guy, blue teams. And again, the collection, they just trying to collecting data through utility, so they don't use input captures and collecting data from local system like a 8-base. So actually they are compress. Actually, that's a mechanism. A mechanism sometimes threat actor trying to collect all of the data and zip it, compress it, back the clean version to self, and then encrypt the data. And in packet, again, encrypted data, not data destruction, but actually I believe data encrypting, and that's the no much different than data destruction, because actually maybe the threat actor doesn't remove MBRs and operating systems from from the victim, but encrypting the data. So the data is a very important one. And again, to use inhibit system recovery or remove shadow copy. I mean, remove Windows backup catalog, Windows recovery environment, and the other stuffs. So actually, that's all about Akira group. And until the next group, bye bye.